Well. I just realized that all of these episodes and commentaries and things of that nature. Well, first of all, hello. How are you out there in digital land? I realized that there's something I seem to be missing with all of these streams that I'm putting up. I never say subscribe. I never say join us. I never say check us out. And now I'm saying subscribe, join us, check us out. Listen to the O.M.G podcast. Listen to the TSFG commentaries that we have for you on this channel, which soon will be breaking out and branching off into hopefully a variety of other pieces of content for you that we can only hope that you will be entertained. This is one of the reasons why some of the times the podcast would take me a while to get up. Just been grinding and coming up with different things, and sometimes they take a while. So my new concept is to now make some of the podcasts shorter, just kind of go by the energy. How the spirit moves me in terms of discussion, and just being short, and just in terms of time, which is one of the most important things I feel that people can give: time and love. And time you can't get back. So then again, I'm not even sure if you can get love back or whatever. It's a whole other conversation. This isn't the show that I'm trying to kick that wisdom on. So anyway, I hope you gals and guys are good out there, and everything is moving in a positive fashion, a positive light. The buzz from this past week, well, one of the pieces, a bit of buzz, I guess, was during the Super Bowl. There was a Netflix commercial or ad or whatever for the Cloverfield paradox, and they decided to stream it after the Super Bowl or that night. I know that the piece that I saw on YouTube, because I didn't watch the bowl, was streaming now. So I don't know if it was... No, and I actually watched it. I saw that spot the same day as the Super Bowl, and it was probably like 8 or 9 o'clock. So yeah, I guess it was streaming. Anyway, it was the same day delivery, and that had a lot of people talking, and there were also articles. Excuse me. For some reason, every time my brain knows that I'm gonna do one of these episodes, it just decides to yawn. Plus, it's very early as I'm doing this. So that might be a factor too. Articles discussing that, and I agree with part of this, that Netflix, the way that they're delivering their content, their films, that, sometimes it seems like it may be overshadowing and, too soon, because they just dropped a series called Altered something or other. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm thinking Altered States. No, that's not it. And there was a lot of, there was some heat on that 2 weeks ago when it dropped, or a week and a half ago, whenever it was when it dropped. And then it seemed to get overshadowed by the Cloverfield paradox, which I am going to get into. But I mean, look, you're into what you're into, and I believe that the Netflix marketing strategy has, based off an article that I read for Bright, more so has to do with the way that we watch films. That's how they're able to market their other films. So since the Cloverfield paradox is sci-fi and the altered show is sci-fi and bright is sci-fi, they market those projects accordingly. So if you're watching, the newest sci-fi, then they'll probably, hey, kind of like an Amazon type of thing. Hey, if you watch that, you might, want to watch these films or this series, and they'll kind of like, link them all together. I think that's how that they're seeing in their bigger picture, and only they know how their strategy works. So, for an outsider, like a critic that has no idea as to what they're doing, of course it's going to seem odd. Just as odd as them buying up all this content, because from what I was reading, that they paid maybe $50 million to purchase the Cloverfield paradox from Paramount. And that's a lot of bread. But like I said, I don't know the in-house strategy, but I do think that that move probably stemmed from the Netflix Disney move, and they might want to solidify a relationship with Paramount even further, because you don't know what direction Disney's going to go to compete with them. You don't know if they're going to only have their Disney, their Touchstone, their Marvel, their newly acquired or soon to be acquired 20th Century Fox, 21st Century Fox projects or films, archives, so I think, the stratagem would be to solidify that relationship with Paramount and, make sure now that you lock in all the Cloverfield films, which would be a smart move, and you lock in the Mission Impossible films. I didn't bother to look to see if never mind. Disregard that whole thing. Scrap that. It's completely. I mean, it's irrelevant, but it's irrelevant. Basically, I was going to say I might as well just go ahead and say it. Didn't bother to see if they had Cloverfield up, if they had 10 Cloverfield laid up on Netflix, because I don't, like I said, it'd be a great idea for them to bundle that together. Anyhow, I did get a chance to watch the Cloverfield Paradox, and I did enjoy it. They had one flaw, which I'm going to go into. Based on what I call the critics or pundits or articles I've been reading, people weren't too happy, or at least those critics, whatever. I really don't think that they are fans of the franchise. This is just my opinion, because when you're stepping into a universe, when you're stepping into their world, you have to kind of go with the flow a little bit. And if you were into 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I enjoyed the first Cloverfield tremendously. I've watched it a number of times. That's the one reason why Matt Reeves gets a pass in my book. I don't know. I wasn't all that gung-ho about the last Planet of the Apes. I thought the one before that was, okay. I don't know what he's going to do with this Batman, but he better bring his ass. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's still living on that reputation in my book, just like Zack Snyder's living on Dawn of the Dead and Watchmen to me. And Man of Steel is cool, so. But that's a whole other, show, I guess, because if I go into that and go into Justice League, which I've discussed too much about, I personally don't think that the Zack Snyder cut is going to be any better. It's not going to have everybody go, oh my God, $300 million extra dollars in sales. It might sew up some pieces, but, and it clear up a lot of curiosity. I can say that. But anyway, So yeah, this Cloverfield paradox, man. Mm, it seemed when I looked at the trailer and when I was reading certain things on it, I said it almost had the feel of, back in the day, because I don't think they do this anymore, especially like on HBO. They used to have B movies, right? And the B movies would be sequels, like it'd be like Puppet Master 3, 4, 5, or something like that. And those movies would have nothing to do with the first Puppet Master. And I've never even seen a Puppet Master to completion. I just kind of remember bits and pieces, you know. And you'd be like, wait a minute, this is like a completely different film. You don't even have any of the original cast. You just, it's, like, why am I looking at a Puppet Master and they're talking about, Hitler? What does this have to do with, the original? And I'm just spouting off shit. Like I said, I've never said that. I'm just kind of run with the idea of the example. It's like the Puppet Master is about, a man who has puppets and he's a master. And then by the time you get to Puppet Master 7, it's about a guy who fixes cars and then he kills people. And it's like, these two do not even go along with one another. And that was the feeling that I got just looking at the stuff beforehand. And then when I watched the actual film, as I sat down, I said, all right, let me let you people know there's going to be a little bit of a spoiler. I hate when people do that, but I'm letting you know right now that this is going to contain a small tidbit of spoilers. Because I'm not going to say one spoiler. I might say 2 or 3 or 4. So, I'm giving you a chance to just shut this down if you want to shut this down right now. Okay. So, I felt, well, let me go back. When I watched the film, I knew just the first few minutes, I said, okay, I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to hook it the same way that they hooked 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is at the end, is going to be a reveal. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I felt like this can go one of two ways. One way is that, it seems, and let's keep in mind that this is a J.J. Abrams produced, this is under his brand. All right, so Matt Reeves, I don't know how much of his involvement with this is. I don't know what he had originally planned. It seems as if they have a plan because, surprisingly, I wasn't even there was rumors of a Cloverfield sequel back, when the first one dropped, and then it just took a while. And I think 10 Cloverfield Lane came out 2 years ago, I believe. So it was, and all these films, they're shot very hush hush, which I respect. And based off the quality that I'm seeing, cool, very smart move. It feels like they're going somewhere with it. But I remind you, this is a J.J. Abrams, it's under his banner. And when he does that type of shit, it doesn't really fare very well, a la Lost, when he was ranting up and down, oh my God, we know what we're doing, and the ending is going to be blah, 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 blah. And then you got to the ending and it was shit. Plain and simple, it was shit. And one of the reasons why is because everyone was like, they're in purgatory. No, he came on Howard Stern show. They're not in purgatory. It's not this. You're going to be surprised and da-da-da. And this was probably by the season before they decided they were going to cancel it or whatever. He was doing interviews. It's not going to be this. And, you're just going to be surprised. And then come to find out, yeah, people had the master key and they were correct. They were already on it. Then I believe he also had gone back on Stern at one point and was like, "Oh, I was involved in the beginning, and then after a while, I got Star Trek and or whatever the fuck he was doing at the time, and he just let those guys go." Orky, whatever, and Kurtzman. I think that's the guys. Those are two dudes, I think. So, it was a complete clusterfuck. Then we go to 8mm, the big surprise. Oh, I'm trying to be Spielberg. The surprise it's gonna shock you, and it didn't shock anyone. So it seems like they're leading up to something. I can only hope, if they pull it off, if it's gonna be, when they, wrap the whole series up, then it's gonna be phenomenal. So far, I'm along for the ride. I felt as if, to me, I'm into, look, at the end of the day, this is what, for those DC fans, this is what Flashpoint is really about, because it's originally, the cartoon, the animated series they did was, not series, the animated movie that they did was the Flashpoint Paradox. I strongly suggest you go check that film out. You have plenty of time. I don't know what they're still going to do with Flash, if it's going to be Flashpoint. That shit in that comic book is fucking bananas. Anyway, it pretty much, and same thing with the series, but they kind of, the TV show, they kind of effed it up. It's playing with different dimensions, basically. The best thing that the Flashpoint did on the TV show, it opened up the different dimensions, the different realities, the Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 22, Earth 25, and all that different thing. They let you know that these different characters can pop up, whenever they want to. And now they have an explanation now to deal with death better now. When they kill a character off, they can bring them back. And, he's from Earth 89 or whatever. Anyway, so, the paradox comes with, a dimension shift. And I felt like, I said, wow, it reminds me a lot of the eardrum I'm hearing now about the CERN and the D-Wave and things of that nature, how, scientists are fucking around with that, and certain things that we're watching and I'm seeing it are changing. You're like, hey, I thought that Mr. Rogers said this, now he's saying that, and blah, 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 blah. Do your own research and you can follow up on that. I'm not going to get too heavy right now. But I'm watching this film. I'm like, okay, the first few minutes I'm into it. There's a moment, right, when I'm hooked. I'm like, all right, you got my attention. Let's keep going. And like I've told you before, there's a moment where you do something and it just takes me out of it and I'm done. I'm like, all right, I'll watch this because I want to see, the little bit of closure, but now I'm already detached from this because they've already effed up. When they did this, they effed the whole thing up for me, and I'm kind of taken out of this, but I'll stay on with it. It's kind of how I felt with the show Claws. Heard so much about it, started watching it. I'm going to drop a spoiler for those that have not seen it. It gets to a point where I might look at something and go, okay, this is kind of stupid. Why not just do this? And then they don't do it. And I go, all right, let me just I'll stay in this rabbit hole a little bit. But then it's like everything meant, like I stopped by episode 5. Once they found the dude was alive, it like everything that led up to that meant nothing anymore. And I don't know what the fuck further, what's going to happen. But to me, once you pull that on me, it's done. Once you create the drama, it's like having Ocean's 11, right? And I'm going to come back to the paradox. Having Ocean's 11 and you see Clooney and his gang, Danny Ocean, they start doing this whole setup, to pull off this heist, right? And what's the best way that I can set this example up? You're setting up to do this heist, and then they all die. 30 minutes into it, they all die. Plain and simple. Yeah, we're going to do this heist. They start planning it. 30 minutes into it, big explosion. They all die. And then all of a sudden it goes a whole other direction. It's like, wait a minute, I just spent 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever, invested in these characters, invested in them, planning this heist. And then with one stroke of a pen, they go into a van, the van blows up, and now that's the end of that story. And it's like, damn, my time was invested in watching them pull this heist off, and now you just killed them off. So on that TV show, someone dies, and there's this whole build up for this cover up, and then you find out the motherfucker didn't die. And the way that they set it up, it seemed like he was dead, plain and simple. And then all of a sudden he just pops up, and it's like, I'm taken out of it. So the first about 20 minutes or so, I'm into it. I'm trying to figure this out. Then once the plots switches, plot points come in or whatever, I'm like, all right, or just as leading up to it, it's like, all right, I'm into this. I get it. All right, yeah, we're trying to be like aliens a little bit, which they should not have really fucked with that, but I get it. And that's, I'm into it at this point. And I'm watching, so I go, damn, like, they could have completely, and this kind of is like my Puppet Master reference, they could have, and B-movie reference, they could have completely did this film and it would have nothing to do with Cloverfield whatsoever. You could have called it, paradox or some shit like that, or dimensional shift or whatever. And I still would have enjoyed the film, And like I said, I knew in the first few minutes, I said, oh yeah, it's going to have this hook at the end, just like they did with 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now with 10 Cloverfield Lane, that shit, totally, like, it actually surprised me because I didn't know anything about the ending. I'm glad I didn't hear anything, about jack shit. I thought, it was going to happen a certain way, and it didn't. I knew it was attached to Cloverfield, but I, had my own interpretation. Now, as I go into this, I'm already primed. It's all right. It's gonna have this, ending like 10 Cloverfield Lane. All right, cool. And then they could have totally fucked my head up and then did something else. We thought you were gonna do this, and then we did that, and I'd have been like, oh. But anyway, yeah, this film could have played. You could have called it something else and had nothing to do with Cloverfield, and I still would have enjoyed this film. I liked the dimensional shift. I liked, everything that I saw. It even had some actors that I didn't really care for, but I stuck with it. And I did enjoy it, and I like, I wish they kind of had stayed away, like I said, from the alien thing, because that, I don't even have to talk about the scenes. It fucking feels like Aliens. The first Alien film, Scott's Alien. But I get it. They didn't stay on that path for too long. They teased it, and then they went away from it. So, a quick homage, boom, bam, boom, you out, and now we just keep on with our story. The one flaw where they've completely fucked up at, they got lazy on, is that, hold on. I'm going to get some accuracy here. I'm going to pull up some names because sometimes I always name the characters. I mean, I don't name the characters. I always name the actors. So I'm going to my IMDb, going to my IMDb bag. I'm going to pull this out. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun. Dun, dun. Sometimes the iPads can be a pain in the goddamn ass. I swear. I hate when you type in something, the drop down comes, and that was supposed to be hold music, by the way. you type something in IMDb, they have this stupid drop down. Then when you hit it, it doesn't go. It takes you to, I'm typing in Cloverfield. It shows me George Clooney. I hit Cloverfield. It takes me to Amal Clooney. What Amal Clooney is doing in IMDb, I have no idea. I have no idea at all. So I might have to go back and take a look at her work. I didn't know she was, such, an actress. Anyway, okay, Hamilton. That's Google and Mbatha Raw's character. Hamilton is married to Michael, right? And you see their relationship. It seemed, unless I misinterpreted it, that Kyle, played by David Oyelowo, not my favorite guy, it seemed as if they might have had some sort of relationship. I don't know, because when they're in the car, he's like, do you know why he asked you and all this other thing, but they never really expounded on it. I might have totally misinterpreted that. It is what it is. Anyway, so the major flaw in the film is that we see, Hamilton and Michael's relationship. Then she takes off. She goes into space. Then we find out, once again, the spoilers, so they're dropping. We find out that she had kids. There was an accident on her Earth, and the children died. So, there's a scene where Michael is in the shelter. He saves this little girl, and they go hide in a shelter. Oh, it's really great. Side note, it was really great to see Zizi Yang again. In the Hollywood films, because you know how the business can be. So yeah, he's in the shelter with this little girl that he helps, and I'm assuming that this guy's a doctor, Michael, her husband, because it seems like he was on his way to a hospital. Anyway, so he finds this young girl. She's looking for her parents, and they end up going to the shelter. Long story short, Michael takes out his cell phone and does this video to his wife, Hamilton, and he's like, oh, I wanted to tell you that maybe we should try again. And now at this point, you know what happened with Hamilton and the kids. Let's give it another shot. Let's try it again. He says it 2 times, I believe. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Then, and by this time, he already knew that it was a paradox. He's talking to someone at the space station who he's friends with. And we also have a glimpse of the monster. I'm saying this for those that have seen it, and I'm refreshing your memory. When he goes to check on when he finds the girl, remember you see the outskirts of the outlining of a shadow. You hear the monster, the fake Godzilla sounding monster. You hear, wait a minute, didn't that motherfucker do Godzilla? Holy shit, hold on. Did Matt Reeves do Godzilla? Pause for the cause. Sorry. I gotta clear this up in my head right now. So anyway, yeah, we see the shadow light silhouette of the monster, the alien, right? So we know what's going on, and then he knows it's a paradox. I'm just showing you the steps. So if you want to go back and go watch the film, this is why I'm saying this. So He does this video. Maybe we should try again. Ba 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 ba. Whatever, whatever. Oh, okay, I'm just reading. Fourth Cloverfield movie. Oh, it's called Overlord. Still planned for theatrical release. Cloverfield 4 is absolutely crazy, promises JJ. There he fucking goes again. That means it's going to be a bust, ladies and gentlemen. That means it's going to be a fucking bust. So he makes this, does this little video confessional. Maybe we should try again. Blah, 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 right? Okay, he didn't do it. Whew, okay, he did let me in. Oh, well, that was pretty decent too. Let me in. I was still stuck on the Matt Reeves thing. So he makes this confessional. Yeah, we should try again. Da da da. Then the ending hits, and she's about to come back home, and he's fucking like, "No, tell her don't come back. Tell her don't come back." Like, dude, you knew it was a paradox. You saw the fucking outskirt of a fucking alien life form. You were in the fucking hiding place. I'm calling it right now. You were in the hiding place with the little girl. Felt the fucking world shake. You knew weird shit was going on. So why would you make this confessional saying, why would they have that scene? Why would they write that in? Maybe we should try again, this, that, and the third, and whatever, whatever. Then it hits the end. He's like, no, tell her don't come back. Don't come back. Don't come back. And you see, that they're coming back to Earth. Like, that fucking, that was a mistake. As far as I'm concerned, that was a mistake. Because that didn't, it was stupid. You knew that should have actually been in your confessional to say, hey, I was going to say this, maybe we should try again. But if you get this, shit is bad over here. I'm aware of this paradox, and it seems like we have an alien life form here. If you get this in time, don't come back. Just avoid it because shit is really bad. For them to do that as like a cheap hook for the ending, which I thought the ending was cool. And it's not like I was like, oh, like I said, I was already expecting it. And then when they showed, that shot, I'm not trying to reveal too much. When they showed the shot, I said, all right, this is going to happen here. But it was all about how's it going to look, how it specifically was going to be dropped, that I wanted to see. If they would like showed like, Bart Simpson, I'd be like, oh, come on, you guys kind of fucked it up. So, but I knew, like I said, it was the delivery. I knew what was going to happen, but I was waiting for the execution and the delivery of how they were going to do it, which was cool for me. But that part right there, as soon as I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, you just did this confessional about how you wanted to try again, which is telling me as the viewer, oh, they're going to get back and, let's try to have more kids. Now you see them coming back, you automatically flip and go, don't come back, don't come back. It would be different if you did the confessional, then you found out it was a paradox. Maybe the scientists say, hey, we think it's a paradox. Or it dawned on you, oh shit, this might be a paradox. Alien life form, whatever, whatever. Then, wait a minute, what are you doing? Tell her don't come back. That works. You fucked up right there. Sorry, you fucked up. I don't know how, you guys are going to bring it around. You're probably not. Since I just announced that they're going to do another Cloverfield and they said they're going to release theatrical, it's probably going to be with a group of different people, whatever, whatever. I think on this fourth one, it's time, they should actually spend money and go on another planet because we've already seen the alien here on Earth in New York, of all places. And we've kind of done that whole thing. So I would say military, blah, 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 blah. But if you want to take it next level, they should put it on another planet where you can use all type of technology. Because as far as I was concerned, we were in current time. I don't remember seeing a year, saying, hey, 2025 or whatever in the future where things, where you might actually have, high-end technology with as far as weapons and things like that. But it would be cool if they went back into the paradox, which I'm sure they're not. They're going to do a whole other story, go into the paradox and all right, instead of us going here, we're going to have to go back up, go into the thing, go into the other dimension and find out what's going on. Then when you get into all the other Earth, and when you get into their Earth, I'm going to say dimension because that's what the shit is. When you get into that Earth, you find all the high-end technology, and then there's a war. And, we're going to either win or we're going to lose. And, this is what it is. I'm thinking, and it just popped in my brain because I recently just watched this film again after not seeing it for a while, and I'm one of the few people that probably liked this film, which was Battle Los Angeles, which was supposed to be a small franchise because from what I had recalled, they were supposed to be like a Battlefield New York or Battlefield Paris and a Battlefield China, shit like that, where they were supposed to be battling these aliens all over the world. So you do something like that on another planet. So that, you can have closure. Let's not try to get to a point where the Cloverfield series is watered down. As far as I'm concerned, so far, I like the fresh take that they've done on this. It could have totally been a whole other, renaming. Let's take out the scene. If you take out the scene with the silhouette, take out the shot of the silhouette of the alien with the sound effect, and you take out the ending, you have no idea there's a Cloverfield film. When they're in the shelter, you feel the shaking, but you have no idea what the fuck is going on. And that could have been a dimensional shift, and it's just, like I said, the dimensional paradox. That's the name of the film, and I would have enjoyed it. It sort of reminded me, for whatever reason, what's this film? What's this dude's name? It's a sci-fi film. I can't freaking remember the actor's name. He's the guy he played. Okay. I know he's married to. Let me see if it's gonna come up. He's trying to play me again. IMDb. He's married to Robin Wright. This dude. Okay, because once I get his name, then I can get the movie. Any day now. Any day. Any day. This page will open. Okay, I'm trying to go to the bio. Oh, I thought she married, dude. It says she's not married in IMDb. Maybe she's engaged to him. I thought they got married, but I can't remember dude's name. He also played that Lance dude, the bicycle guy that got busted for the roids. Everybody's doing it. I know right now someone's listening to it. His name is this, asshole. No. You're effing it up. This is his name, dum-dum. I can't even remember the goddamn... For some reason, it's funny because I think the name of the movie starts with a P. Shit, I can't remember his name. But yeah, it reminded me of this film. The film that I can't remember. Damn, it's like my brain is trying to access it now. Shit. Damn it. Nah, it's gonna bother me. But yeah, for some reason it reminds me of the film that shall not be named because I can't remember dude's name. I see his face, but can't remember his name. Let me see. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, no, they're not. I'm trying to go into his history to see if I could pull dude's name up, but they're gonna give me another garbage with where I'm looking at. Oh, Diane Lane is joining House of Cards. Interesting. I think that this is all probably the setup for the spin-off that they're gonna do. And I can't even remember the dude that rode the bike. Lance Storm from ECW. No. Damn, I wish I could remember dude's name. And I wish I could remember what other films he was in, and it escapes my mind right now. But yeah, it was a sci-fi film, and I can't even remember who else he was in the movie, but it was basically two dudes on a ship, and that's about as good as it's gonna get. But I'm gonna fucking just completely just get off of that altogether, because it's going nowhere. Yeah, had a similar feel to it. So, fuck it. Anyway, yeah. That was a landmine that went nowhere. Sorry about that. A fucking time fucking waster. Yeah, that was a major flaw that I found in that film, and sorry, but you guys fucked that up. Wah, 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 wah. Overall, I think it's worth watching. I would say check it out, and I'm gonna see if I can get into the other sci-fi show that they have, the altered reality, or whatever the fuck the name of this shit is. Yeah, I'm still, as you can probably tell, I'm still bothered because I can't remember that goddamn name. My mind is still trying to access that film, and it's not allowing me. So, Cloverfield Paradox: The Biggest Unanswered Questions. See, okay, so I'm gonna read this off of IMDb. I want to scan through this because when I see shit like this, to me, it kind of, and this might be arrogant of me to say, it kind of says that you're really not Cloverfield fans. I don't know. The biggest unanswered questions. Okay, this is from Screen Rant. And why is every picture of Tommy Wiseau just looks like shit? Underwhelming CGI. Yeah, okay. Because now you're a fucking CGI expert now. Are these altered dimensions? Are these alternate dimensions or a screwed up timeline? Okay, yeah. That's one question. I've already feel like I've answered that. And if you don't fucking know that, there's something. Anyway, why is the Cloverfield monster so much bigger? Probably because it's a different fucking form of man. It fucking sucks when the fucking iPod just blacks out on you. God damn it. Fucking shit for brains. Yes, I'm talking about this tablet. Okay, it's probably because I might have too many tabs open. I hate when it does that shit. Or sometimes the fucking bullshit website doesn't just take to the tablet. Okay, hold on. Why are the Cloverfield monsters so much bigger? You stupid. Because it ate a lot of fucking buildings, you fucking dumb. Like, why would you ask such a... This is clickbait. How did worms and the gyro... This is all spoiler shit, by the way. How did the worms and the gyroscope get into Vaclav? who gives a fuck? He probably I think it's probably because of the dimensional shift, and on the other, in the other dimension, he probably ate that shit. Is Monday's arm sentient? No, we didn't even have to know that, because all this shit really has to do, in my opinion, with the other dimension. Because he got bumped off. Why was Jensen the only member of her crew to make the jump or station? Yeah, this has got to be, that's a good question. But it's because that she, in my opinion, she fucked that up. I think that they put her on there to do the damage to come back to Earth, because she obviously was on a mission. There's no way that she crosses streams and then gets on the ship and then decides to kill everybody so that she can, do whatever it is that she felt that she should do. She was on a fucking mission to bump off everybody. Oh, I fucking did it again. And it took me a while to notice that Jensen was, what's her face, from Guardians of the Galaxy and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And if you haven't seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E., you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay, I'm still trying to get these questions, but the tablet doesn't want to play right. Okay. Was the ship possessed by a demonic force? Truth be told, next to nothing happens in the Cloverfield paradox. Makes a ton of sense. Earth. See, now they're using Earth 2's. Like I said, Earth 2's dimension basically eats Earth 1's crew alive at random for some reason. Yeah, there's definitely more tech. There's more tech that they have to follow up. I mean, you know what? It's not a bad idea to have these questions, now that I think about it as I'm reading it, because this is a what I consider a typical J.J. Abrams move, where, like I said, the next fucking one, the next Cloverfield, is more than likely gonna be about motherfuckers in the hood. Oh shit, that's a fucking alien. And it will not answer shit about anything. They'll just leave it at that and just say, have a nice fucking day. Fuck you. Answer it. And he'll just walk off. Oh, yeah, that wasn't me. That was them. They wanted to do that. I was just producing it. But anyway, yeah, I would suggest, I know it seems like I'm a little bit all over the place. I would suggest checking it out for yourself. And seeing if you like it. If you're a Cloverfield fan, and I mean, hopefully, I hope that you're that invested into the world that you kind of get what they're doing, as I did. And doesn't mean anything less of you. You might catch shit that I didn't catch, like I'm reading those answers. And to me, a lot of shit didn't. I'm not thinking too much about that. Oh, is the arm sentient? Why is the arm moving? It said to me that they might be all fucking droids. They might, whatever, that the fucking hand, spoiler, could fucking write on its own, and it was sending you a message from the other dimension. So it says, we, honestly, we need to go into that dimension. We need to see that storyline and see like like I said, maybe they're all droids. The question is, one of the questions was the ship demonic? The ship could quite frankly be like fucking, Moya from what was the show? Earth. Damn, I need some fucking ginkgo biloba. You know the show that I'm talking about, Moya. Any sci-fi head that remembers the show, a Farscape. Bing, 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 bing. He gets it right. I said Earth something. Yeah, it could have been Moya. From fucking Farscape. Everything needs to be explained sometimes to certain people, I guess. But to me, it feels like you're not really in that Cloverfield world. That's just me. It is what it is. I'm going to cap it off with that. Check the film out for yourself. I'm going to see if I can get some time in to at least watch the first few episodes of Altered, whatever it is, and hope that it's better than Iron Fist and the first season of Jessica Jones. And I'll get back to you after these messages. We'll be white, black. Peace. Ben Foster. That's his fucking name. It was like Pookie, man. That crack kept calling me. That's his fucking name. Ben Foster, the dude I was referring to. And I'm going to pull this film up right now. Ben fucking Foster. Pandorum. That's that shit. Pandorum. Pandorum. I used to be Pandorum. Yeah, Dennis Quaid. I knew it was another fucking name that was in the movie. You know, somebody that would... Anyway, a leading guy. Yeah, Pandorum. A pair of crew members aboard a spaceship wake up with no knowledge of their mission and their identities. That's what it reminded me a little bit of. And I kept saying that it started with a P in my brain, too. So it was like paradox, pan something, whatever, Pandorum. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. Pandorum, a little bit of. Let me see, it's the storyline. 2 crew members stranded in a spacecraft quickly, horrifically realize they're not alone as they waken in a hypersleep chamber, seemingly abandoned spacecraft, pitch black. Slowly, the spacecraft's shockingly deadly secrets are revealed, and the astronauts find their own survival is more important than they could have ever imagined. Yeah, that's what this reminded me of. Pandorum. Pandorum. It reminded me of Pandorum. You ain't seen no parts of Pandorum. Peace, mofos. Sorry, I'm back again. I decided after I ended this to go back to this fucking article. And I was fucking on the nose. Fucking J.J. Abrams. What the fuck? This fucking pad, I swear I'm gonna bang it upside down. This film was entitled The God Particle, and it had nothing to do with Cloverfield. And J.J. Abrams reworked it. Oh, wow. God, I'm a good filmmaker. And he reworked it. So basically, he's the one that decided to put those fucking scenes in there. And he should have left it alone, because I think it would have worked as the God Particle. I, have no idea the critics are really bashing it, and they think that look, it didn't feel like it was. Maybe I'm just a guy that just likes B movies, if you want to say that, because I am. I grew up on that shit as well, So it is what it is. If my outlook is different than everyone else's, so be it. The root cause behind Cloverfield Paradox's sloppy storyline seems obvious. During production, producer J.J. Abrams elected to completely rework the film, completely rework. There's those fucking 3 scenes that are Cloverfield references. What big reworking are you talking about? Reworked the film, then known as God Particle, in order to fashion it into an entry into his ongoing Cloverfield franchise. While we can't say that the God Particle would have been a hit if it had been left alone, we got to look at the original script, and it's arguably worse than what we ended up with. But shoehorning an alternate dimension and a monster invasion into a space station murder mystery definitely complicated things to an unnecessary degree. Wow, so I was right on point. As it stands, Paradox attempts... Okay, I'm done because this pad is not going to allow me to fucking finish this. I'm not going to sit and read a review as part of a fucking podcast. So, yeah, check it out for yourself. If you're into it, into the Cloverfield thing, into the series, Check it out, see what you think, bash on it, bang on it, leave a comment in the box if you've already seen it, and we can further discuss. And on that note, I will not come back. I will leave this alone, and we'll talk about some other shit.